Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the latest edition of Hot Shots. And I'm here with the amazing and incredible Naema. I've got Tom, Ethan, Joey, and Tia. Lovely to see you all.
Hello.
Hello.
So,
Thank you for inviting us.
well, no,
Sorry.
it's a pleasure. I think it's one of those things that I stumbled upon you guys on TikTok, and I was really blown away by what I heard. So, it was a bit of a no-brainer to get you onto here to do this. So, thank you for having some time to chat this evening.
Of course.
So,
Thanks.
you've got a bit of an unusual story about how you all got together. So, over to you.
Yeah, I can quickly run through how we all kind of ended up playing together.
It had to be you, Tom. It had to be.
Yeah, well, so the way that Naema kind of started was kind of from an older band that me, Joey, and Ethan were in called Capulus. It was like a hard rock band. It had gone through loads of lineup changes, and then we kind of got to the last lineup change where it was Joey and Ethan, and then the band was kind of just not really working anymore. And our lead singer joined another really good band, and they're doing brilliantly at the minute. They're doing awesome. But me and Ethan and Joey, we kind of just ended up jamming in another room, and kind of aimlessly practicing, playing. Like we'd do these half-hour jams where it was completely unplanned what we were going to play. We'd just rock up. Joey had this gong that he'd stop the track with, so we'd be jamming, and then he'd just go dong, and that was the end of the jam, wasn't it, Joey?
That was, yeah.
Yeah.
Enough recording.
That was it, yeah. And then we kind of decided that we'd actually start taking it seriously and start to write some songs in Joey's conservatory before we moved to Gillingham. So yeah, right when it was going to get a bit more challenging. But we just started writing songs together. I think we wrote about 3 or 4 when it was just us 3, and then we held auditions for a bunch of singers, and that's how we met Tia. We met Tia through a Facebook post where it almost got missed. It was one that had gone out. I'd sort of partly given up because it was just like we kind of like we played with some awesome singers, but we didn't quite have the gel that you want. They were brilliant. All of them were really good singers in their own right. We didn't have that kind of instant connection that we wanted in a band. And then I went back to it and just saw that Tia had commented like about a week and a half beforehand, and I was like, oh no. And then I got back to her, and then it was all good. And we had a practice at Blue Line, or an audition at Blue Line, sorry, which is a studio down here in Bournemouth as well. A lot of the local bands go and practice and get ready for the stage. And yeah, we kind of knew from that moment that was like how
she had the gig like instantly, but then we had to do the whole come back from another audition. Yeah, we're super professional. We're really held together. But she had it within the first half a song.
And the fun fact, I nearly didn't turn up to the second one and nearly cancelled, saying I had COVID because I was so nervous. And the first audition, I was like, no, please don't worry about contacting me because I'm nothing to do with rock. I just like my pop, really. And I was like, don't worry. They're like, no, we'll call you back. And then before the second audition, I was in the car crying to my mum, like, I'm never going to get in. And I turned up and I'm in, so that's good.
So it's a very lovely way of doing it, and I say it's one of those sort of wonderful things that the social media side brought you together. And if it hadn't been, it's like the whole sliding doors thing, isn't it? If they hadn't seen that message from you, things would have been so much different, for both them and for you. But I love the uniqueness that you guys have got because of that blend. I know from reading the bio, everyone's got their own various spheres of influence and likes. And of course, Tia, you come from this very sort of pop background that you love, the whole sort of Taylor Swift things, which obviously is fantastic, considering Taylor Swift is selling out every single stadium in the world multiple times. It's not a bad aim to have. I just wonder, what you say about, things really clicked with you guys. When Tom, Ethan, and Jay, you were writing the material, was Tia a natural fit into that? Did you have in mind that someone who is totally out of that, rock sphere was going to come in and revolutionize it, or was it just an adaptation that you made that really, really worked?
I think what we were looking for at the time was a niche sound. We did go through some singers who were quite very skilled, very talented with how they sounded. And as soon as Tia walked into the room, she gave her performance, and we realized, oh, okay. So, and she told us about her pop background. We thought we could this could be something. This could be something new. It's unique, and I can't name another band, I think, which sounds too similar to us. But that's sort of the end that what we were going for. That's what we had in mind. So I think from that point we just realised that Tia must have been the one.
Was well, as far as the songwriting goes, were you? Tia's probably blushing, aren't you? Slightly on the inside, so it
Not hard
worked
to
out
do.
for you in the end. But as far as the material, the material that you had, so Tia just slotted into that, really?
Basically, yeah. So
Yeah.
we'd written before Tia joined. We had Blending, Shane's, Void, and Calling Out was like more or less sort of written. They were in there like bare bones kind of thing. And we'd just been putting together demos. I'd kind of done a few vocal demos on it, which no one's going to hear because no one wants to hear me singing on the demos. And then Tia came in as true, isn't it, Joey?
I mean, I think it's nice to hear what we could have sounded like.
Oh God, no. No, and then when Tia came in, we just basically Tia and I think Tia listened to the tracks and kind of found where her registry would sit.
Yeah.
Didn't you, Tia? You kind of adjusted them to sort of suit. Like a couple of them went up, maybe like a couple of different like they basically the song stayed the same tuning. It was just like a different point in the key that you picked up. I think they all went about a third up, didn't they, or something?
I think so. Yeah.
Like, so you would like singing some of the harmonies that were originally put into it, but then you swapped them to be the lead.
Yeah.
And then, but we kind of like, I think in the early, in my mind, I love a band called Vukovi. I think they're absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
That was kind of something that I had in mind in the early kind of days when we weren't really properly formed. It was sort of something I was really enjoying at that point. Because they just take everything. They take some really cool, really heavy metal music, like hard rock stuff, and then they have these really lovely pop sort of influences going on as well.
Yeah.
They kind of go through all of these different parts of the songs, and like that sort of idea was kind of from my side. That's kind of what I thought would be a good direction to go in, and we kind of have sort of done that, but we've obviously all pulled in our own influences as well. So that's kind of how we got to where we are and how we sound now.
Yeah.
It has been a little bit of work. Like the newest tracks were One Shot and New Norm, which were ones that were a lot more organically written as a full-on Naema. That was kind of how we all worked together as a band, as opposed to it being like tracks that had been written and then Tia comes and sings on them. These newer tracks are ones that were fully written as Naema, which is. Well, I think we all think that those are the better songs because they're just more complete. That's how they all sound as a band.
I mean, One Shot kind of came together, didn't it?
Yeah, it was so quick.
Out of nowhere.
It was so fast.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? With you guys, that when the four of you come together, you can write something, but having a vocalist, particularly one with Tia's abilities, it's that whole wonderful thing. It's a whole new adventure, and it's refining your sound and just moving in a slightly different direction, but one that's really fresh for you all.
Oh,
Sorry, I just want to wait for somebody else to speak.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
for me, what really strikes me is there's a real wide-ranging appeal to what you do. You've got some great hooks, and they've got that, funky bass and the heavy drums and everything, and the great riffs. But also, obviously, sort of Tia's, fantastic vocals, that are very feminine, but they're not light and airy. They got some power to them without being, Lizzie Hale sort of powerful. So it's a really sort of interesting mix, and I think that has got such a wide, appeal to so many people potentially.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's kind of what we're aiming for, isn't it, guys? Really, we're sort of trying to find that in between sound where we could either appeal to a lot of people or nobody at all.
Yeah, just yourselves.
Between,
yeah, just appeal to the 4 people in the band.
That's it. I think the point is that we make music that we like, and it's great. Like I love the fact that like TikTok, for example, has gone, yeah, we like that one. I've gone, oh, great. It means I'm not just sitting here listening to my own band going, oh yeah, this is a good song. A shame no one liked it,
That's the thing. I think it's so key, isn't it? You've got to, and I always think you've got to be true to yourself. So you've got to play the music that you write, that you want to write, rather than thinking, okay, we know, with the explosion of singer-songwriters after Ed Sheeran just really went through the roof. So many people were trying to emulate what he did. And, people constantly trying to be the next such and such a person. But I think, like with yourselves, you are the one and only Naema, and you're going to continue to be that, moving forward. And as long as you're true to yourselves and write what you want and that you enjoy, the audience will find you. And as you said, with TikTok, you've got thousands upon thousands of views and likes on the videos. So, how important to you is social media?
Massive, isn't it, really, guys? It's like when we started rolling out the EP was it November that One Shot came out, guys? Was it November?
Yeah, I think November.
I think it was. Yeah, and then we kind of decided, like, we'd been doing a bit of research on how people are doing it these days, like, because it's all well and good putting out a song and sort of people just organically finding it. That's the romantic idea, that people will just find your song on Spotify and be like, wow, this is an amazing song, or they'll just find your YouTube music video and hope that like they come and join you. But it doesn't really work like that, unfortunately, because it's so dense. There's so much music going out there. And one of the ways that a lot of people have been having success has been through TikTok, and it's just really churning it out every day, like 3 or 4 posts a day, which sounds insane, and it is a bit insane. It is a lot of work, but it's kind of taken us from this kind of quiet little, oh, not quiet, this loud little local band in Bournemouth to one that actually has a following out and all over the place. We have a huge number of listeners in the States, in Germany, Japan as well. And that would never have happened. Well, it may have happened, but it would happen a lot more slowly if we hadn't done TikTok and YouTube Shorts and the Instagram Reels as well. I don't think we would have seen the same numbers that we're seeing now, and like actually have people coming to find us and talk to us, like yourself. Like, we didn't really have any of that. So when it first happened, when we first had the kind of blow up in January, I think it was, when TikTok really popped off, it was almost overwhelming because there was just so much. It was like our little bubble had burst. It was like, oh my gosh, there's so many people trying to find us and talk to us. And now it's kind of calmed down and we sort of understand it. And that's just what it is to sort of have a decent number of people know your name. So
your name.
We've settled down now. Our Naema.
But for anyone who is having doubts, or anyone who's not too sure about TikTok, because it is an algorithm-driven social media platform, it is the one place which will branch out to thousands, potentially millions. And it just depends how hard you hit it, how regularly you hit it.
Yeah.
And the content doesn't need to be really well thought out. We started off doing like little sketches here and there just to kind of like show our comedic side. And then we realized that, yeah, people are more interested to watch like 10, maybe 20-second videos, and they can be about the most greatest thing of us performing on stage, and they could be it could be that, or it can be like the silliest things, such as, we didn't do one, but it's like recording our feet. And for some weird
Right.
reason, that would attract thousands. So it's,
I think it'll attract the wrong thousands, though.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
the problem with that.
yeah.
There's specialized sites for that sort of thing, I think.
It just goes to
Nate-
show that
yeah.
that yes, it is hard work, but you don't need to put a lot of thought into it, and you just keep working at it, and that's what we did, and that's how we got the followers that we have.
I think the thing for me, particularly with TikTok, is that the average is obviously doom scrolling. A lot of people do, and the average used to be people would sit on something for 7 seconds, and now it's gone down to 3. So the fact that you've grabbed people in that 3 seconds is fantastic. And I think a lot of the artists I see on TikTok, they're very good at doing the videos, but outside of those videos, and I've seen footage of some of them live, they can't do it. Whereas you guys can. You've proven yourselves as a live act, and I think that's really, really important for sustainability. And so, for you, obviously, gigs are an important thing to do.
Absolutely.
I think,
and
yeah,
it's capturing them, and it's getting footage from the audience as well. So that we can get different perspectives, or from our shows basically, and utilize them into content.
But it's more than just having content, isn't it? It's actually getting out, because I think people are going to be buying your merch at gigs, are going to be it's that proper word of mouth. We saw them on TikTok, we came along, and they were really good, because obviously similarly to getting people in, you've got to show that you can do it live. I've seen bands again, who haven't got any social media presence but are amazing live. But contra to that, I've seen bands who've got big social media presence but can't play live. And there's one or two bands I could name, but I won't obviously on here now at the moment as we're recording, who don't play live properly. But from all I've seen from you guys, you've got those two areas pretty much down pat.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I think for us, really, the actual social post is really just the socials are just to kind of pull people in. Like that they're more of a vehicle, especially TikTok. Like where our home social media is probably Instagram and Facebook, really, where that's where you kind of get to kind of hang out with us a bit more. That's kind of where we are. Tia does the TikTok lives quite often to kind of engage with the audience that hangs out over there. But it was always really as a means to sort of, I kind of think of TikTok as being a discovery platform.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a brilliant discovery platform where like that's why so many of our videos are kind of quite a similar message, really, because it's sort of is more, we're not really posting to the people that are already on it necessarily, although they still enjoy and engage with the posts that we're making. We're trying to really kind of reach out and find have new people find us, and then come over to listen to our music, and hopefully can come and join us on our other socials, and then hopefully come and see us at a show. It's always really, really brilliant when we see somebody say they bought their tickets to come and see us at one of the shows in our link tree on the top of the page. Like that's probably one of my favorite posts, when somebody says and asking us to come and play in their hometown. Like that's kind of really what the whole social thing for me personally is all about, is just kind of trying to use it as a means for people to find us so that we can go to those people and hopefully put on a good show for them. I think that's kind of what, well, for most of us really, I think all of us really, that's sort of what we want to do, isn't it? We're a performing band.
It's the live shows that are the most important, I think, especially for me. It's like that's the whole reason we do this, is that we want to go and play. That's
every time.
It's fine playing in a rehearsal room, whatever, isn't it? But you want to have that interaction with people. You want to see them enjoying the show. And I think it's great, sort of with Tia. She's doing the TikTok live, which builds up that relationship, doesn't it? It's not just that snatch, it's actually a decent amount of time. And again, coming to see you live, you're spending a decent amount of time, because that as we was going back, that 3 seconds or what have you on TikTok, or 30 seconds on TikTok, if you really push it, it's great. But to actually go and see someone and actually talk to them, that to me is longevity.
And like I always say, I find it so lovely that when people, like if someone was to come over and say, oh, I've come from TikTok, or I've seen your lives, it feels like you already, like, it's the things like if there's someone that's like regularly commenting, like we can say like a few people's names that all the band will go, oh yeah, I love that guy, love that girl, love that person, and I will say it's just lovely to be able to, for them to see the people behind the band as well, and create a sort of relationship, and then they come to another gig and it's, oh my goodness, it's you again. And I think it's so important to also show your personality, because then you're not just a band, like you're sort of friends. But yeah,
absolutely. And I think obviously at the moment you're pushing the Perception EP, which is out on Friday. 7 great tracks. What's the plan moving forward? See, with what's the hope after Perception's released?
Get straight back into the studio.
More writing. More. We've got a couple in the pipeline at the moment, but it's
early days.
Am I being spoiled?
Early stages.
So we do hope to get back into the studio by we are definitely planning the end of this year. We haven't decided how many songs we're going to work on, but it's going to be greater than 2, that's for sure. And we've spoken about just creating just another follow-up EP. I think there was the discussion of album, whether we could in time. Great, but EP, we've done this one. We're very proud of it. We think we can do better. We're always trying to improve ourselves, but so we're just looking forward if we can make another EP. So right now we're just brainstorming at the moment.
Moving forward, it's taking one bit at a time, isn't it? It's that whole thing from releasing the singles to EP's got 7 tracks, which is quite a long EP, which is great. I know the most recent Blackstone Cherry EP had 9 tracks on it, but
that's an album.
Pretty much.
That was an album back in the day.
And then you've got potential for the album. It's that whole thing, EP or album, whatever. You just got to sort of, see how it all flows, how the the music's coming, and just that whole planning of that. So touring, are there any plans to do any sort of major sort of touring? Is it just going to be more 1 or 2 dates in and around when you can get the opportunity?
We definitely want to do a tour. It's kind of doing that would be brilliant, because that's really how you get. It kind of helps you level up as a band. Doing consistent shows over and over and over again. We found that when we do we feel like a way better band when we do 3 or 4 dates really close to each other, and like by the 4th one it's like you can play it in your sleep and you kind of know what everybody's doing on the stage, and it just seems to flow. So we would love to do a tour. We've been talking about doing a tour this year. Whether or not we do a full-blown one, we're not too sure yet. We're doing quite a few dates all over the place. Like we've got got one in Northampton, we got one in Bridgewater, got one in Portsmouth as well, which are all coming up. Yeah, Southampton as well. Yeah, I don't know how many of those are actually written. I think that all those ones are out in the open, aren't they now, guys? I think they are. If they're not, then sorry.
I don't think all of them. I think one of them
right.
maybe not.
We'll be playing around there. We'll be playing in those places. But like, yeah, the plan really for this year was to kind of get this. It's almost more of a mixtape than an EP because of how like the songs were all sort of written in different times, and then they've all kind of come together. We really want to double down on what we kind of got with the last 2 or 3 songs that we wrote as Naema, and double down on that and really have that is like, this is what we sound like, and this is our Naema EP. Not to discredit the Perception EP that's coming out on the 26th, but like we absolutely love what we've written, but it's like we want to double down on the stuff that we really felt was strong from that and make something that's really like as strong as we can do this year. And we just love writing and recording music. We're all getting excited about it because the stuff that's kind of slowly coming together, or quite quickly coming together even, is sounding cool, and it's exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I think that is that thing, isn't it? You know, the newer tracks are written by all of you, so you've all got a real input, and it is aiming more and more and more towards the sound that the 4 of you, are developing. You know, and that's the exciting thing, isn't it? And the new material and everything that's coming through. Again, you know, it's all of your DNA in it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, you know, I'm look forward to seeing you guys on the road soon. Very best wishes with the EP. It is an incredible EP, fantastic band, and you know, I can see, you know, genuinely really, really big things for you guys in the future, and long may you continue. So thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
My absolute pleasure. And as I said, we will see you soon.
Lovely.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you again. Thank you so much.